All right, this will be a pretty interesting one here tonight. Today, I guess it's still today. Yeah, even on the East Coast. Feel free to talk here about this matchup while I get everything synced up, Danny.
I'm really excited to see Wolves Nuggets. They, of course, had an extremely memorable series a couple of years ago, but these teams are really different than they were then. Of course, that starts with the Randall and DiVincenzo for Towns trade, but really there's a lot kind of up and down the rosters. Michael Porter Jr. out, Cam Johnson in, and these two teams are such interesting foils for one another. And so I want to see, I think for me, the first thing is going to be how well the Nuggets can contain Anthony Edwards. Edwards is still, he's available to play. He's still dealing with this knee issue. And so we'll see how he looks. But if Denver can contain him, I talked about this a little bit in the preview. I think the Nuggets, they're not a guarantee to win the series by any stretch of the imagination. But I think that how well the Nuggets defend in this series is going to give me a good indication of how dangerous they're going to be to the top teams in the West moving forward.
Yeah, first thing I will be watching for is the health of Anthony Edwards. Does he look to have the same explosion? Is he getting separation at the point of attack to get his jumper off? Is he going to be able to force the Denver Nuggets to tilt their defense against him outside the three-point line? That's going to be a massive storyline early because he was even considered questionable coming in today. So forgive me, it'll take me a second to start calling because I got to make sure we're synced up.
And so you can see Anthony Edwards dribbling up. Christian Braun has the base assignment, but you see that easy switch with Aaron Gordon. I have no problem with Aaron Gordon on Ant.
Now McDaniel's going right at Johnson. Could be an interesting thing for them to explore. First miss by the Wolves and Christian Braun. He's picked up by DiVincenzo. It's Gobert on Jokic. Edwards on Gordon. Gordon goes right at him. Edwards stopped him, but DiVincenzo with a big foul underneath. A nice quick attack there. So that'll be interesting to see. Are they going to stick with Edwards on Gordon, or was that just how they happened to match up that first time?
Well, and that was McDaniels on Jamal Murray. So I want to see if this is what Chris Finch wants to do, or if this is just a situational thing because of the miss.
Yeah, excuse me while I still working on getting us synced up here.
And as Nate brought up in the preview, one of the other big differences between these two teams from a couple of years ago is that Aaron Gordon has become such a dangerous shooter. And, he's not going to do a lot off the dribble or anything like that, but that is something else that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to have to contend with, which they did not really have to in that series.
Yeah, and of course, Randall guarding potentially Jokic at some point rather than Karl-Anthony Towns, but it's Gobert on him early. Nice screen by Gobert. Jokic was back. DiVincenzo drains the three. This is interesting. The Wolves, will they try to involve Jokic more defensively through some of their secondary players? Now it's Edwards on Johnson. Edwards rotating back onto Jokic, almost took it away from him, and he hits him on the back of the arm going for the steal. That was good intensity there for Edwards. And watch it here again. Yeah.
After a make, this is still McDaniels on Murray. I am extremely excited to see how this turns out.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they were going to go for, and now it is Edwards on Johnson. There's a good screen on McDaniels, flare screen set by Braun, and that's going to be another storyline of how Christian Braun is defended, how he can make the Wolves pay for not defending him. That time he got an open three for a good shooter with the flare screen.
And reminder that you can also join us on Assist, live on assist.com, and there is a comment section there. I'm checking that one as well, and of course YouTube.
Yep, and here, let me get the score bug set up, by the way. There we go. Should look better now. If you want to sync up, if you're on Assist, you can actually sync up with us directly. You can put in the time that you see on your TV, and it'll sync our commentary up to yours. Here's Johnson off the weak side screen, right down the lane with Jokic setting the screen. There was a bit of a controversy at one point about, oh, Jokic, some of the assists are bullshit because of handoffs, as DiVincenzo right back with the three. But part of the reason Jokic gets so many assists on handoffs is his defender has to stick right to him. And now Johnson is wide open. Man, they are going right at Edwards a ton early. So Jokic's defender has to stick right to him on those handoffs, and then the ball handler has plenty of space. Edwards stepping back for his first shot, rimmed it out.
I would have liked for Randall to attack Christian Braun there.
Brown, good attack, but DiVincenzo did well to stand him up. Edwards is down apparently. Doesn't look good. Not sure what happened to him. I might try to go back and check that at some point. Maybe they'll give us a replay.
It's not a controversial call, so I think we'll see a replay. Yeah, he's not moving great.
No, I don't know if he banged knees or what, but McDaniels will go to the foul line. And he's another key figure in this series because he's going to be guarded by the likes of Cam Johnson, especially if they tilt their defense more towards Edwards. And I think it doesn't look like they're starting that way. Wolves are also trying to get other guys involved a lot early. But I do think it's pretty noteworthy how often Denver has gone at Edwards' man, which has largely been Johnson. I like getting Johnson involved early. Here they go right back to him, screen away, no contact made on that screen. Now Gordon picked up by Randall. They go under on him. He'll fire off the dribble. Gordon is actually shooting a really good percentage on off the dribble threes this year. 8-4 Wolves. Nuggets have gotten good looks, haven't knocked him down. DiVincenzo corner. This is where McDaniels could be effective. Right there on that closeout.
Especially if they're going to cross match and then hold, if Denver's going to hold that cross match, he can attack Jamal Murray.
Yeah, and then once McDaniels gets going, Jokic is no deterrent for him at the rim. Murray falls down. Oh, this may be a flagrant here, but he looks like he got that right ankle. I imagine this will be a flagrant. We'll see if we get a replay on this. I imagine we will because the referees will surely look at it, and they shall. Let's see here if he really gets into his landing space. Ooh, yeah, I don't know.
He's already down. I don't think that should be. He's down before Jamal Murray jumps.
Yeah, I mean Murray jumps really far forward here. And McDaniels, he's kind of turned away. I mean, he really didn't. That's tough on McDaniels. Like he didn't really move forward much at all. I want to see one more look at that. But hopefully Murray is going to be okay. We're already seeing some guys dealing with some bumps and bruises. Let's take a look one more time. So McDaniels gets beaten here. He does jump forward, lands, but yeah, I mean Murray, he's really. Yeah, I want to see a different angle of it. All right, this one should show us more.
That last turn of the heel, I actually do think this should be a flagrant.
I mean, I think it's going to be, yeah. I mean, he's kind of trying to just turn away and not commit that foul, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a straight rule at this point. Like if a guy lands on your foot, it's going to be a flagrant. This is less flagrant than many. Didn't get much sleep last night. Sorry.
And notably, that's what we'll see what the adjudication is here. That was the fourth team foul on the Minnesota Timberwolves already. Now, nobody's in foul trouble because it's on 4 separate players, but
so yeah, interesting. It doesn't. There's not really a turn there by Murray. I'm actually. Let's see what Zach Zarba has to say here. Yeah, I'm hopeful Murray's okay. Sometimes you see guys, if there's no ankle turn, you're worried if he has some pain that it's a foot. But hopefully he's going to be all right, and this is nothing major.
And so 3 free throws for Jamal Murray. I think that Minnesota's offense has been, I mean, those DiVincenzo threes are looming large. I think Minnesota's offense has looked pretty healthy in the early going.
So Murray gets the first. Yeah, I think both offenses are looking pretty good. I mean, the Wolves, they got to score really well in this series. I think this is much more of an offensive series than what took place a couple of years ago. The Wolves are remember how good that Wolves defense was in 24. They were like 2.5 points per 100 better than the rest of the league. Like they were, a no doubt about it, mid 50s win team in the mix for the number one seed the entire season. And they're just not anywhere close to that as a regular season group this year. And it's not because of the offense. They really have moved to being almost more of an offensive team at this point. Jokic, his first attack against Gobert. Oh, the pass was well behind Christian Braun. Rare mistake by Jokic.
And that might have been a timing mistake where he thought Brown was going to cut a little bit later.
Randall gets a little wedge screen. He'll back in on Gordon. This is one of the things I wanted to see. And that's not a good shot there by Randall. He does make it, but the Nuggets could live with that. That's not the shot that's going to make them feel like they have to double team on that play. But Julius Randle, I mean, he is a really strong dude. There are guys who will guard him where as Edwards gets hung up on the screen again. I love this strategy by David Adelman, getting Cam Johnson involved, taking advantage of Edwards' middling off-ball defense. Now it's DiVincenzo snaking off the screen. Edwards finds DiVincenzo. That was a really good pass. And look out, McDaniels, he's going to just go right in. And, Jokic apparently got a piece of that. Gobert is saying there was a foul. They're going to challenge this. This is a good challenge here. You can do it because it's an out-of-bounds call, so they can challenge it. And that would put a foul on Jokic as well. If, in fact, the challenge is successful, they seem to think that he's going to get hit on the arm. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How did they miss that?
That's terrible miscall.
Yeah. I'm pretty pissed off if I'm Chris Finch. So I got to waste a challenge on that one.
Noting at the outset that Spencer Jones is available for this game. He's questionable with a hamstring injury. He is available. Have we seen? I didn't see anything on Watson officially.
I'm sure it's out there. Let's actually find that.
I'm going for it right now.
I was locked in on the other game, so yeah, wasn't even thinking about that.
Watson is out according to the comments. I will check it to make sure.
That's a bummer. It was a big bummer that Emmanuel Quickly wasn't available either.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm working my way through the myriad injury reports to make sure I have this right. Yes, Peyton Watson out, hamstring strain. Spencer Jones available, and then that's all. That's all the listings for this game.
Oh yeah, hey, I'm glad they're showing this that pass. I guess you guys can't see that because we have the league pass with no commercials, but they showed that awesome Jokic pass that we were so excited by when we did the live game against Memphis. Remember when Memphis had a real team? That was a long time ago.
It was such a long time ago. So there's a discussion in the comments about the McDaniels flagrant, and it's not. So is it a reckless closeout? No, but he didn't give the player a chance to land, and there's a risk of injury. That is the way it is being adjudicated right now. And when you think about, I'm a player safety zealot. I think that one might be on the realm of being a foul, but not a flagrant. But if it's on the borderline, I generally am willing to err on the side of player safety. And like McDaniels, he turned his foot towards the end, and that was what led to the contact. So I'm okay if it's a borderline. I'm okay with that being a flagrant.
Yeah, sorry. I'll be more engaged in the comments in a second. I'm trying to figure out how to make you louder in one Chrome tab and the game softer in a different Chrome tab. But
So according to Adam Morris, Watson could miss the entire series. That would suck. I'm such a big Peyton Watson fan.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess that video from Katie Wingy that where Jones was doing a bunch of stuff and Watson was just shooting free throws. I mean, it was a 30-second clip, but apparently that there was some signal in that. So McDaniel's trying to pressure up on Murray. This will be a theme too, if they can wear him down a little bit. Again, they start this with the screen for Johnson, then the flex action gets Jokic open. Gobert, that's a action as old as time. Back screen, you have to help and then bring a shooter out top. Randall, terrible shot. What's he doing? He had plenty of time. Now Gordon is wide open in transition, can't knock it down. I mean, the Nuggets are getting great shots nearly every time.
And that was a bad miss pass by Cam Johnson. He had Gordon open in the corner earlier, but he made passed it to Murray, who passed it to Gordon.
Now Edwards, he looked pretty good there on that attack. Missed that jumper though. I like the speed that he showed going hard there. Randall picking up Gordon in transition. Jokic, hand back. Gordon, that's a foul. And they are going to say, no, a travel? Wait a minute.
No, they called that a blocking foul. That's on Julius Randle.
Why did he make the travel signal? I mean, it is a blocking foul. Oh, I see what he's saying. He's saying there's no actual shot at the end, so wave that off because he traveled before the shot, but there was a foul before that. That's interesting. I always wondered, like, hey, if you get fouled, can you just take 97 steps before you shoot it?
And that is Julius Randle's second, so I expect to see him come out of the game for Naz Reid here.
Yeah, Reid has struggled with his health down the end of the season, a shoulder issue. We'll see if he's been able to heal up at least a little bit during the week-long break.
I saw him even shaking it a bit as he was walking into the game, so I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, he's not shot the ball well of late. So it'll be Reid now guarding Aaron Gordon. Gobert, handoff, McDaniels. They want him to attack Johnson. Jokic in more of a drop, and McDaniels hits that mid-ranger. Wolves up 4. It seems like they're getting outplayed, but they have the lead. McDaniels, there's the first turnover, and they won't even try to run him down.
And it was the pressure from the Wolves that disconnected the pass.
5-2 pick and roll. They help on the roll man. Johnson was open, couldn't knock it down. He's been getting great looks. Edwards going at Murray in transition. Brown loading to him. Edwards tells Reid to get out of there. Good defense by Murray. Ran Edwards off of that step back. He'll try again. Again, everyone is loaded up, and Edwards just hits it anyway. That's the type of shot he's going to need to make to really tilt that Denver defense, and the Wolves lead by 9 all of a sudden.
And something I really like there is that they had Naz Reid one pass away, and so Cam Johnson didn't know what to do. He was shading towards Jamal Murray, but you don't want to leave Naz Reid wide open for an arc 3. And so I think that in that circumstance, I mean, we'll see what Ant looks like. I mean, he's been solid to start this game, but maybe you do want to send a little bit more help. See with Naz Reid's shoulder if he can make that shot. Ben says the Wolves are hitting a lot of tough shots. I think that the shot quality, which is something we look at more in the early part of a game than whether the shots actually go in, is in Denver's favor, but you do have those logged makes already, which are significant. And pull up see if I have some interesting stats so far. Minnesota, 1.7 points per half-court possession, 19 points on 11 half-court plays. That's really impressive. Denver, 9 plays, 6 points in the half court. They're 1 of 7 from the field in the half court. And notably, No shots at the rim in the half court for Denver. They've had 6 threes. They've been 1 for 6, and then they have 1-2 that isn't near the basket.
Yeah, now they have gotten fouled a couple of times through Gordon in the half court. Jokic kind of taking things easily here, but yeah, Wolves 161.5 offensive rating early on here. Although our luck adjusted score thinks the score should be 16-16 right now.
Mm-hmm. And so with Watson out, it'll be there are also fewer defensive options for Denver. Spencer Jones can be a part of this series, but he's so limited offensively that it gives the Wolves some places to attack. I would have Rudy Gobert on flare screen Jones when he's on the floor. If you have somebody who can play Jokic, that's gonna be some feature. See if there are any comments on playback. Nothing yet.
Well, that's probably because playback is now a defunct platform.
Oh, sorry.
But
the volume of muscle memory.
I know we were on there for like 4 years. It's not but Assist is the new platform now.
And no comments on there yet, but I'm continuously checking. So if we get one, I'll take it. Also, the Denver Nuggets are already in the bonus with more than half of this first quarter to go. 5 team fouls on the Wolves, only 2 on the Nuggets so far.
Yeah, sorry. I'm still trying to get my all my settings dialed in here.
Did Edwards and Curry have the same knee injury? I think
that's what people were talking about. It's basically just patellar tendonitis. So Jokic inside it against Gobert has to kick it out. And Gobert got the steal, good pressure, but it looks like he must have stepped on the sideline.
Good job jumping the route, though, understanding what pass was coming. And I'm assuming he went out of bounds. Refs don't usually get that wrong.
No.
Because the Wolves bench seems so surprised, and they're pretty close, but I think they just saw it wrong.
Oh, they could have challenged it, but that would be their last challenge. Murray, but another pretty good look at a 3, missed it. Brown is on Edwards. They'll run a double screen to try to involve Jokic. Jokic not up too high. They tried the flare for Reed. Reed on the attack. 2 guys on the offensive glass. Gobert corrals it. Gets it out to McDaniels. Now Edwards. He'll try Gordon this time. Blows by him. Easy layup and the push on Gordon. Is that number 2 on Gordon?
That is number 2 on Aaron Gordon. That's a big play for Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, Edwards, a strong left-handed driver. Again, Jokic just absolutely zero resistance provided by the 7-footer at the rim.
And Jokic put a little bit of a hand in the midsection as well, but they'd already called the foul on Gordon.
Edwards couldn't complete the 3-point play. Now picks up Gordon in transition. That's good work there. Just turn him a couple times in the backcourt, and the transition is over. Now Murray, they screened McDaniels really tough, but Murray is way short. Maybe that foot is bothering him. He's been way short on the last 2. Gobert looking to post up. Ant. Now it's McDaniels working on Jokic and just lost it.
It was a little bit of a hand in there from Tim Hardaway Jr., who checked in for Cam Johnson, but that was just a McDaniels flub.
So I am pretty pleased with what I've seen from Anthony Edwards here early. He's had a couple of hard attacks getting to the basket, hit a step back 3. Looks like Jokic got smacked in the face at some point. Those high altitude nosebleeds are no joke.
Yeah, first when I saw Jokic walking to the bench because he usually plays the whole first quarter, I was worried, but it's a nick.
Yeah, so they're going to go with the man. It's going to turn him into a mouth breather.
And it's been a challenging start for Jokic. He had that 1 3-pointer, but he's also had a couple of turnovers and kind of miscommunicated passes.
So Dosunmu is in now his playoff debut. I think that's right. Now maybe he was in the playoffs with the Bulls. I think he was.
Yeah, that's serious.
In the rotation as Jokic gets the pick and pop. But this will be a good challenge for Dosunmu. They'll see whether he can get over these screens on Murray. Gobert stepping up, blind pig action. They go under on that. Now the double team. Gobert, beautiful hands. Gordon there too slowly. He went for the steal and couldn't get it. I think on Gobert there, if you just chest up, you could probably just make a miss. Now Jokic working on Gobert. Gobert stands him up. Gobert stands him up again. Jokic tries to draw a foul.
Ooh.
Turns it over. 2-on-1. Dunk by Reed. Great defense by Gobert. Jokic was getting frustrated when it got tipped away twice in a row. Tried to draw the bullshit foul, and the refs were not biting.
And while the Nuggets missed some shots early in this, I think this has been good defense rather than luck for the Wolves in the last 2-3 minutes.
In this last segment for sure. Dosunmu on the back of Murray. Good help by Gobert enables Dosunmu to get back in position. Dosunmu blitzing Jokic. That's the right pass. That's Brown wide open for three. And Brown says a little something to that Wolves bench because they were clearly saying, hey, leave him there. But that's a batting practice corner three for him. He's going to make that one, I think. It's really more the above the break. Dosunmu, whoa, that is out there and woefully short.
I don't like that shot. There was still enough time to get something better.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't even look comfortable. Oh, what a cut there. And again, I think it was Edwards that they beat. Just semi-transition. Now McDaniels, he's run into by Hardaway. No foul call. I thought so. Gobert, handoff, Reed, getting past Gordon. Reed on the fake. Airmails that. I think it's his left shoulder that's bothering him. Transition again. Brown steps over. Oh, Edwards took it away from him. It's still in bounds. Hardaway right to the shot. And McDaniels clears. Now he'll try against Murray with Jokic behind him. Goes right into him. Probably should have waited for reinforcements there because he could have taken Murray one-on-one if he just waited for Gobert. Jokic would have had to back off. Oh, look out. What a move by Hardaway to the basket, and Jokic has gotten that lob to two cutters in transition. Denver right back into it.
And we're starting to see that Denver offense get its flow, and transition, semi-transition is making it happen.
Now Gobert on the short roll. Reed, corner, Dosunmu wide open. That one he knocks down.
That's much more in line with what Dosunmu can hit than that aggressive arc three that he took a minute ago.
And again, it's going to be Christian Braun. That time, not able to knock it down. They were packing the paint with Jokic having the ball to take away some of those back cuts. He saw Braun open. He couldn't knock it down. Now Murray on the switch off the Gobert screen, and Jokic got a hand. Gobert got it back. Wolves with Reed working through Brown, and Jokic got two deflections on that possession. 3-on-1. Hardaway tries to, and he just got rejected, and a foul on Reed. He did not think he did foul him, but it'll be free throws for Gordon.
And Wolves Minnesota probably not going to use their last challenge to get this, even if it's the incorrect call. That block by Ant.
Yeah, the Nuggets were one of the best transition teams in history and one of the worst transition defenses in history this season.
And so now this, if I saw the subs right, this could be a weird lineup for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let's see if this is correct. I thought I saw Conley. And Bones checking in. Is that what they're doing here?
That would be a surprise to go with both those guys at the same point. But yeah, that is what it is. They're going no Ant, no Randall, a 3-guard group, Dosunmu at the 3, Anderson and Naz Reid.
With Jokic on the floor.
Yeah, so they'll probably put Reed on him and then have Anderson kind of hanging out behind the play. I'm guessing they're going to have Anderson guard Bruce Brown here. Dosunmu missing that three. Brown on the push. Anderson picks him up. No advantage. They'll work back into the post here with Conley. Gordon goes right through him. We'll go the other way, says Zach Zarba. Great defense there by Mike Conley. They went right after him in the post. Gordon, can't believe, is that 3 on him?
That is his third, so this might get challenged.
Yeah, Adelman just got a technical. He can't believe it. I mean, that seems like a pretty obvious offensive foul. Like, when you got a 10-inch height advantage and a 50-pound weight advantage on a guy, you probably need to score in some way other than just turning right into him. Yeah, that's an offensive foul. I'm good with that. I mean, he did flop a little bit, but, like, he didn't actually make a move.
Yeah, there's a little bit of the JJ Barea small guy foul, but also Aaron Gordon didn't use Kraft there.
Yeah, so this is an emotional challenge here right now. They're going to lose this. I mean, are they saying that Conley like wrapped him with his arm or something right before that? I would be very surprised if this holds up.
Because Conley gave him the space for the catch. That's the way that this could be an issue.
Yeah, JJ Barea is actually on the Nuggets staff, Danny. Great call by Bickrent in the comments. But I would be shocked if this ends up getting overturned. I didn't see anything there to indicate that they should do that. Yeah, this is a terrible challenge. I mean, I'm sorry. Oh, it's your third foul on an important player. I mean, because they went for the challenge right away without. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. What's that? That's just a terrible challenge. Like, it just losing. That's like letting your emotions. I mean, like, what? How is this? Yeah, he turns right into him. Like, I don't understand. I mean, okay, does he fall down a little bit? There's contact there. Is he saying there's no contact?
And the arm on Conley that Conley has on Gordon's back is purely incidental. It doesn't affect Gordon at all.
And frankly, he was lucky he didn't elbow him in the face. Like, you just turn right into a smaller player like that. Like, I mean, if that can't be a foul, then you just have no chance to defend if you're that size against a bigger player. Now, there are many circumstances already where the way that the game is called is going that. So, looks like we have a technical foul on Denver. I assume that was Adelman.
The one on Adelman, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that, I mean, that's just setting such a terrible emotional tone for your team. And, you know, he's been sort of deemed to be a different voice for Michael Malone. And, you know, maybe he's feeling like his team wasn't competing hard enough and he wanted to up the temperature a little. Now Reed into the post against flare screen Jones. He's a good defender. Back out Bones looking for some revenge. Tough step back on Bruce Brown, but they never really got any kind of penetration on that possession. Johnson in transition. Murray getting a break now. They've got both Bruce Brown and Jones, and there's another steal. Beautiful pass by Conley, and Dosunmu is a relentless runner in transition.
And I was about to flag Conley being the base defender on Cam Johnson that he gets that steal and assist.
Yeah, Conley has forced 2 turnovers already. Here is Hardaway, tried to draw the foul. Jones got the tip. Nobody there to clean up the rebound. Nuggets offensive rebounding used to be a big factor in their game. They've done a lot less of that as Jokic has gravitated more towards the perimeter. Dosunmu along the baseline. Conley on the move. Looks for a cutter. Now it'll be Reed working against Johnson. Is Johnson going to hold up? Good defense there. Reed missed that floater left-handed. He wanted a foul. There was not one.
Stayed strong. I like that from Cam Johnson. I wondered how he could compete on a bigger guy because that's going to happen a lot in this series.
Yeah, I think he's got decent strength. It's more not having great length or foot speed laterally. They go under on Brown. He's going to try to go right at Conley. Conley stood tall again, and the Wolves, with a brilliant first quarter, they put 3 fouls on Aaron Gordon and lead it by 10 as Denver, you noted it, Danny, has not really punctured the paint offensively.
Some of the key stats for me: Minnesota, 25 points on 23 half-court plays. That's well over a point per play, 1.09. Denver, 0.6, and a lot of that was through cuts. They did have some in semi-transition, but Minnesota's offense has looked extremely healthy in this early going. I can do more stats, but I'll see if there are any questions. Jokic felt largely absent. I agree with that. I think he wasn't the force. He had a couple of beautiful passes to Brown and to Hardaway, but overall, for a guy who's in the conversation for best player in the world, you didn't feel him enough in that first quarter. He actually had a couple of decent defensive plays, but overall that wasn't quite as good. And great point from Ben that not having Peyton Watson with Gordon in foul trouble really hurts. Spencer Jones can do some of that, but he's not as good as an overall player as Peyton Watson is, and that you're going to get into some of these minutes when Jokic is out. That's going to be an even bigger stress. I think I like Strawther over Brown at this point, just better shooting and ball handling. I think that there are going to be times for it, but Christian Brown's defense in some of these base alignments is going to be significant. And so I think that you can use Strawther when Ant is off the floor, or if you have another guy who's going to take some of those assignments. But I think in the starting lineup, I think that's a little bit too much to ask. Would you favor the Wolves to actually win the game now with Gordon in score context? Yeah, I think I would, because also they've played better, and so the make or miss stuff, I think that's toned down from the beginning of the game, and Gordon's foul trouble. So yeah, I mean, you have a 10-point lead. It's on the road, but it's a 10-point lead, and Jokic hasn't sat yet. So yes, I would pick the Wolves to win right now. But I'm wrong on those all the time in game for whatever reason. Are you surprised by how quickly Anthony Edwards has become a great shooter? Yeah, the volume and success that he's had as a three-point shooter, like percentage-wise, that's not a huge surprise. It was something that I noted on the film going back to when he was at Georgia, is that Anthony Edwards took a lot of terrible shots, but the ones that were more normal looked good. But Anthony Edwards, last year, made 40% on 10 per 36. This year, he made 40% on 9 per 36. That is phenomenal.
I would go beyond that. I would say it's, given where he was as a prospect, I would say it's shocking. Like the idea that he would become one of the best off the dribble 3-point shooters in NBA history.
That's a good delineation.
That's what he is.
Yeah. Because and you can't shoot 8 or 9 or 10 per 36 without doing some of that. There just isn't the volume within the NBA offense. Rocky nearly hit the ref with that flag. That would have been a little funny. But it's really impressive. And for Anthony Edwards, like, he's not the true creator that a lot of these guys are. Like, even like he hasn't gotten to the point yet that Donovan Mitchell has. And Mitchell is more of a learned lead guy too. But he's such a dynamic shooter that you get a lot of that place. And you mentioned in the early part of this game that Minnesota's become more of an offensive team. And considering who they have, that's really impressive.
So Gobert is back in now. This is interesting. They're going with Gobert to guard Valanciunas. My thought, and Randall has not played that much. You would think Randall would normally come back in right at this point as Bruce Brown hits the above the break three. That is a shot that the Wolves will certainly give them. But these are some interesting lineups here. I felt like Valanciunas was going to struggle to exist in this series, and instead it seems like the Wolves have jiggered their rotation to match up with him instead of forcing him to match up with them.
Tipped pass by Jamal Murray. And this is somewhat similar to the kitchen sink approach that we saw the Warriors do with Stephen Curry off the floor. Basically, all of their best offensive players, with notably that Aaron Gordon is out due to foul trouble.
Bones blow by to his right, but couldn't finish as the shot clock ran out. Hardaway on the push. Dosunmu picking him up early, trying to keep him on the side. And he harried him beautifully. Turnover again. Great defense there by Dosunmu.
And so let's see what the Wolves can generate. That was a great drive by Bones Hyland and just a missed finish. I think they're going to be able to get some good looks here.
Yeah, Hardaway Jr., I think, is someone they can attack more and more as the series goes on. Conley to Reed. Off the screen. That's a 4-man taking the 3 off the dribble. Murray complaining about an illegal screen, but Valanciunas is not going to get up. So, hey, go ahead and take those off the dribble 3s right now. Screen for Johnson on one side. Valanciunas goes the other way, and they're going to get a hold, I believe, on Dosunmu here as Murray tried to come off a screen.
And these early fouls in the beginning of the second and fourth with mostly bench units, guys are trying to be aggressive, can always loom large.
Valanciunas at the elbow. They get it in the right corner, Hardaway, and he drains the 3. Here, I actually just had a skip forward, so we may need to sync up again. I'm at 10, 30, 29, 28, 27, 6. Let me see if we're actually accurate in terms of our stream. Another turnover by the Wolves. Brown working off the Valanciunas screen. It goes to a free throw line floater. That's not the shot that David Adelman is looking for. Reed working on Brown. That's a tough foul on Brown. All right, I'm going to try to see if I can resync us here.
I think you and I are pretty synced, so you just have to do it with the other platforms.
Yeah, I may be slightly distracted as I try to fix that.
That's fine. I can call. And I think that is a tough call on Bruce Brown in that circumstance.
Yeah, okay, we got to resync here. Sorry, I'm going to be distracted for a second.
Dosunmu drive, draws the help. Gobert, wow, what a tip-in by Rudy Gobert. I think that was a little bit more fortunate than skill, but he did get that in, push the lead back up to 9.
All right, sorry to those of you who were synced before. My feed really jumped. Here's Murray working against Conley. This is a really interesting group to go with these 3 guards by Chris Finch. It seems to be working reasonably well so far. But it's surprising how little Randall has played. Gobert. Wow, he and Bruce Brown should definitely not have a floater from the free throw line contest. Bruce is better further in, but the free throw line is too far for that. Murray looking off Valanciunas, trying to post up Gobert. That's a good idea. It's not an advantage matchup. Murray working on Reed, got the separation. Off the dribble 3. Brown, that's just not good enough by Dosunmu and Gobert. And so the Wolves losing the non-Jokic minutes right now. And yeah, I do kind of question Chris Finch going with Rudy Gobert here. Maybe he felt like they just needed his defense, but Gobert did at least avoid the goaltend, but the ball went in anyway.
Well, and going with 3 guards when they could defend this group differently with better personnel.
So Bruce Brown had that above the break 3 offensive rebound, making some plays here. Randall is back in now, and this is a match that they got to go right to Randall here, guarded by Johnson. Instead, Gobert, he beats Valanciunas right to the basket. They had a set play, so they did not go with Randall that time, but Gobert got behind Valanciunas, who struggles in pick and roll defense. Yeah, see, that's not good enough by Valanciunas. Like, he's too far up there on Conley. You can't let Gobert get behind you when it's Conley, who is shooting 31% from the field this season.
And who's such an adept passer at finding that seam that you just gave him.
6-point game. Here's Murray against Asumu, eluded him again, and Jamal Murray is getting very good looks right now.
He looked off in the very beginning of the game, but has had a couple of nice pull-ups here.
Yeah, so get the ball to Randall against Cam Johnson. All right, that's a pretty good shot too. I mean, that's Valanciunas is definitely getting absolutely lit up in pick and roll defense right now, but the Nuggets are scoring pretty well themselves. Murray got the switch on of Conley on him, backing down, waves everyone away, tries to draw the foul. No, he has done it.
That foul is called on Mike Conley. That is Conley's first, I believe, but it's the third team foul on the Wolves.
Yeah, and if you want to point to another difference between this series and 2024, Jamal Murray just having much more explosion, much better shot making. He's just feeling much better physically, it seems like, than he was back in 24 when he was questionable for every game with like bilateral shin soreness. And so this is interesting, actually. They're taking out Cam Johnson now. Jones is in. I imagine that is to guard Randall.
Yeah, that makes sense.
With Gordon on 3 fouls, I'm sure that's impacted the rotations for David Adelman. But with Denver making up score here, they don't need to go back to Gordon and risk him with the 3 fouls. Here's Randall at the elbow. Flex action, Gobert. Back to Randall. Languid possession. Randall working in pick and roll against Valanciunas. Shoots the jumper off the dribble. Again, just not really a good shot there. Randall has been taking some pretty difficult jumpers when the Wolves have been doing well to get good shots otherwise. Murray rejecting the screen. Good job by DiVincenzo getting back in front of him. Murray still on the ball. Tries to draw the foul. That time he's done it again.
And that's the 4th foul on Minnesota in the second quarter. So Denver shooting for the rest of the half.
Yeah, and this really just not very good for Minnesota. And Anthony Edwards is getting a pretty good rest right now. But to lose 10 points off the lead with 5 points off a 10-point lead with Jokic on the bench, and it's going to be down to 3, presumably after these Murray free throws.
And these will be I believe the 5th and 6th free throws for Jamal Murray in this first half.
And so Jokic returns. And now will they stick with Gobert the rest of this quarter? Edwards is back too. I will say I've seen absolutely zero indication so far that Denver can stop the Wolves from getting good shots. So it's Jones switching on to Edwards. Brown is in the gap. They zone up behind the play. Tough 3 by Edwards. Tipped around and will stay here. Denver can't believe it, but they fired their challenge into the sun already.
And I really liked Spencer Jones moving his feet there with Anthony Edwards. He moved his feet, didn't concede anything, and then did a nice job contesting the resulting shot. Oh, they switch it back?
They do actually make the change there, yeah. And so that is the under 7 timeout with the Wolves lead cut to 3. See if I can find anything interesting in the stats if you want to take a couple questions.
I'm looking through.
Wolves are only 10 of 21 from 2, 6 of 10 from 3. And they have already taken 7 mid-rangers. They're 2 of 7 on those. They're 0 for 4 from the upper paint, but 8 of 10 at the rim. Break that down in a half court. 3 of 5 at the rim in the half court. And 3 of 3 at the rim in transition.
And this is a pretty damning stat for Minnesota's defense. Denver in the first quarter, 0.63 points per half court play. In the second quarter, 1.75.
Yeah, and that's with Jokic hardly having played in this quarter.
And so, yes, Jamal Murray and Jonas Valanciunas can do well, but you need that to be better. Why is Finch getting so creative with the lineups without Jokic? Things were going so well. I think it's a mistaken theory of lineup. So to me, what you need when Valanciunas is on the floor, you're going to generate good shots due to his shortcomings. What you need to do is just lock up the defense and get everything there, and then you can have some more offensive players on the floor. You can, because he's such a limited pick and roll defender, you can get stuff there. So you have a couple of guys, you have a base kind of set, and then you have everybody else try to slow down Jamal Murray and all these other stuff. Instead, they went small, and I think that gave the Nuggets a lot of places to attack.
And now perhaps the reason they were slow to bring Randall back in the game was he had 2 fouls.
Miguel asks if Denver can win the non-Murray minutes. We'll see. I mean, Jamal Murray, he's even, and Jokic is, the Nuggets are -10 in Jokic's minutes now. There's a lot of other stuff involved in that, but Jamal Murray's he really stepped up in that early second quarter.
So a little interesting to me, let's keep an eye on Edwards' minutes. He played 10 minutes and then sat out almost 7. Normally, especially after this long of a rest, you would think he would be on pace for 40 minutes, and it wasn't going like that well for them at the start of the second either.
I'd forgotten how long these playoff ad breaks are. Let's see if there are any subs here. I don't think we're going to see any subs, considering that happened right before the stoppage.
Yeah. Yeah, you see Ant's got like all that stuff on his knees. He's on the bike, all sorts of stuff. Jokic up top. Murray, oh, they miscommunicate on that flare screen, but Murray missed the shot. Yeah, Kevin Harlan just noted that Ant kind of grimaced after that. He landed from that rebound. He still can blow by Brown, though. And again, Jokic just 0 resistance at the basket. But Ant, yeah, he is got a little hitch in his giddy up. There's Bruce Brown, blew by, but couldn't finish. Randall really backed away. He should have just put that one in. Now Randall has a huge advantage. And again, you just got to be more help from Jokic earlier.
Jokic is standing right there. He sees Bruce Brown on Julius Randle and goes, he's fine. Or was that, sorry, that was Tim Hardaway Jr.
Hardaway, yeah.
That was Brown would have felt slightly more okay.
Didn't feel good when Edwards landed, apparently. But he still can push off. But it's really, when you have that patellar tendonitis, it's the eccentric movement, landing, trying to control rather than pushing off. That's what's really going to hurt. So you could actually push off and extend a little bit better, but it's when you get that eccentric movement of landing or of doing some sort of a decel, a slow step move. That's when you really hurts that tendon in the front of the knee. And what will happen as time goes on is like your quad just doesn't want to fire as well because it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And so really, if you're rehabbing that, you really have to strengthen not only the tendon itself as Johnson gets a quick turn towards the baseline, but also retrain that quad to fire on the eccentric movements. And that's why it takes so long to recover from that. I mean, when I had that, it was basically like, obviously I'm not rehabbing like a pro, but it took me 6 months, like pretty focused rehab for a civilian, as Randall, again, insisting on some pretty bad jumpers here. Johnson off the screen. And that was an illegal screen by Jokic, but You really shouldn't be going under on that anyway. Like, that's supposed to be a point of education where Jokic rolled to the basket right as the guy tried to go under. That should be an offensive foul on Jokic. Now Reed.
A terrible pass.
Back up top to Randall. These are our first Reed Randall minutes with Gobert on the bench. You would think that maybe Denver would try to get Jokic in the post more. I mean, what are these shots?
That's
Again,
horrendous.
yeah, I mean, that was late clock, but they never really punctured anything. Now Jokic, again, working with Hardaway. This is a nice offensive group for Jokic to play with the two shooters. Brown, corner, Jones. And what do we have here? Oh, a late foul on Reed in the corner. This would be 3 free throws? Oh, that is horrible. I mean, it was horrible in a number of respects, right? First, you got Bruce Brown above the break. They should have stunted towards him and retreated to the corner, make him shoot that instead of giving up the corner three. And then he's late. And, I mean, that's... So let's see here. No, so I don't think this should be a foul because this was in the point of education video yesterday. He kind of moved his arm a little bit, but there was no secondary movement to hit his hand. That's what they emphasized in that video is you get your hand out there to get touched, but then if you take another swipe at the guy to try to hit his hand, that's what Dylan Brooks was doing to Steph Curry all that series last year, Houston Golden State. That's when it's supposed to be a foul. So he just was sticking his hand up and just went into him a little bit. He moved his wrist slightly, but I don't think that should have been a foul.
And Spencer Jones makes 2 out of 3. Tie game.
Yeah, quick 7-0 run by Denver. And the Wolves have to start getting back to getting into the paint. Jokic is up that time. Ant goes the other way. That's good defense by Jokic, moving his feet to mirror Edwards, but he's hit on the arm by Brown.
And that is the 4th team foul. That's a shooting foul by itself. And so now both teams will be shooting for the remaining 4.5 of the second quarter.
Ooh, did he hit him?
I didn't see anything on the replay.
Yeah, Edwards reacted, but I don't think he got him on the elbow. I think he had a Battier contest in between the elbows. So Edwards gets a couple of free throws. Wolves back in front. Both teams in the bonus the rest of the way. But I think the slower pace favors Denver. There's the screen by Brown for Jokic.
And Gobert tries to get out, and that's one of the elements that Jokic has really improved on since the last series.
Yeah, and one thing, too, is that a small guy screening a big guy like that is Edwards just twists through everyone. He's split. Oh, that's going to be a delay game. And actually, though, I will say this. Jokic ran into him on purpose. That is a wily move by Jokic to draw a delay a game. Watch this, if they show it. First off, beautiful split by Ant, and then he finishes around a third guy. But yeah, Jokic, he definitely ran in front of Edwards to make him not be able to get back. DiVincenzo on Jokic underneath Brown. Good rotation by Randall. Nuggets are a step ahead until Cam Johnson threw it away from Bruce Brown.
He threw that pass too hard and too far in front of Bruce Brown. But nice job by Julius Randle in defense to rotate down.
Edwards has the matchup he likes on Johnson. Jones trying to come over. So is Bruce Brown. Edwards with the defense tilted, too late to get off the ball. Now he's going to have to try. He can make this shot, though. Well short. Denver looking for transition again, trying to take their first lead in at least a while. Jokic again. Gobert got back in a position. Going to back down. Hand off Johnson. Broken up by Edwards. That's really good defense by the Wolves. McDaniels going under. That's what you should do. Brown should have thrown it back to Jokic there. That was terrible. He was open, and Bruce Brown decided to go at both McDaniels and Gobert, and that wasn't going to work.
And that play also got short-circuited because Christian Brown got the rebound, but either didn't or couldn't really push the ball. I'm not even talking about, running the break yourself, but doing a couple of hard dribbles and then forcing the defense to react. Instead, they had to play in the half court.
Worth noting as we think about the minutes that game 2 of this series is on Monday. This is going to be let's see, and then I imagine game 2 is Thursday.
Probably Thursday.
Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, so Monday and Thursday, I think the two most interesting series are Knicks, Hawks, and Nuggets, Wolves. So those would be games we're probably going to be pretty locked in on. And of course, Cavs, Raptors, that nobody cares about. They didn't give us much reason to care about it. At least the Raptors didn't. But yeah, it looks like Monday and Thursday are Raps, Cavs, Hawks, Knicks, Wolves, Nuggets. And then they presumably play again Saturday. Yes. So Ball is like some aluminum company, huh? Is that what they do?
I think so.
Yeah. Again, I always forget you guys aren't seeing the same stuff as us during these commercials. We're just seeing like a bunch of in-arena stuff. We get to listen to the hype man screaming about whatever it is.
Miguel says we have to do one of the Cavs Raptors games for the Wolves. I actually thought that the Raptors played somewhat competitively in the first half, though they were benefiting from unsustainable 3-point shooting. They were 7 of 14 from 3 in the early going. But then the onslaught started and they were just done. I wouldn't be surprised if the Raptors won a game in the series, but I would be surprised if they won the series. We'll break that down on Dunked On soon enough.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about the scoreboard not being big enough. I had to resync, and I have two tabs open. One is the scoreboard, and I have to increase the magnification to 500%. Maybe I should actually, let me see if I can use like Edge or something on that. Anyway, I'll do that at halftime. So when I had to go to the other stream or the other screen to sync up, I had to make it less than 500% so I could actually use that. Then I forgot to switch back. So thanks for the reminder.
It's a little bit of a shame that because he never had a connection with the Nuggets, that Hito Turkoglu can't do any ball ads because of that whole interview a lifetime ago.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Didn't Hito Turkoglu do a whole interview a long time ago that he just said ball is the answer for every question?
Oh, I don't remember that.
I'm pretty sure that happened. Ball and Crown make all the canning for beverages. See, these are the things we learn. It's not a mortgage company. Unlike all the other ones.
I don't understand why they like need to advertise by sponsoring an arena. So it'll be a critical last few minutes here with the Wolves having gotten off to a nice lead. Denver's had the run of it. Wolves actually are struggling to generate good shots now. They haven't forced as many turnovers, and we'll get some starters versus starters action now down the end. Randall also, to me, has been really ineffective offensively, just not aggressive. And David Edelman has been able to get away with no Aaron Gordon. Here is Randall going into Jones and scores. That's the shot that he needs to take. I mean, Julius Randle, he's strong. Like, Spencer Jones is a really strong dude. Julius Randle can go through just about anybody on that type of a move. Wedge screen for Jokic. I guess maybe that's more of a UCLA screen. I don't know. Wedge, he would just start it on the other side of the floor. Here's Jones above the break.
And we haven't seen Aaron Gordon since he got his third foul, correct?
No, we have not. And they haven't needed him. Randall, they go. That's a terrible shot. What is he doing? You just scored in the paint. Murray goes down. He's just slipped. McDaniels aghast at the call. McDaniels' foul trouble is a constant storyline in Wolves playoff runs.
And that, because the Nuggets are in the bonus, that becomes a shooting foul when it would not have been otherwise. Jamal Murray's 8th and 9th free throw attempts of this first half.
All right, looks like someone just posted the on YouTube. If you go into the YouTube, they just posted the ball interview. If anyone needs that,
Thank you.
I'll be sure to check it out during halftime. So Randall has been taken out of the game. They're going with McDaniels at the 4 as Gobert. Nice lefty finish. So this is Chris Finch has rarely gone to this alignment in the playoffs. Let's see if they can stop anyone. They should really stress out the Nugget defense, but Jamal Murray is really stressing out the Wolves defense. Denver up by 2. McDaniels had Gobert, couldn't find him. Good help by Murray to take away the roll anyway. Gobert getting back into the screening action, rescreened for Edwards. Weak side, McDaniels, and he'll surely put this one in easily. Again, that's where if they are not guarding Jaden McDaniels, they need to throw it to him because he's going to just blow by whoever's closing out on him, and there's absolutely nobody on Denver who can stop him once he gets ahead of steam at the basket. McDaniels trying to deny Murray. Jokic, a very, very lazy pass, and Dosunmu was there. Denver lucky that there was a collision, but to me, they both have the right to that ball.
I think it was that Dosunmu's hand hit man before it hit ball. That's what I saw.
Yeah. I will give credit for Jokic actually jumping that time as on his contest, even though it was ineffectual. Yeah, and good job by the broadcast highlighting. That was a really nice pick and roll pass by McDaniels to Gobert.
Jaden McDaniels, first half so far, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, even in his 17 minutes.
Yeah, what are Murray's stats, by the way? He's been fantastic.
17 points, 11 of 11 from the free throw line, 3 of 7 from the field, 3 assists, 1 turnover.
I mean, that might even be a career playoff high for free throws and a half. Edwards double teamed. DiVincenzo gets the 2-for-1, and Jamal Murray raises his hand because he just was a little bit too aggressive helping off DiVincenzo. They already had 2 guys on Ant. Now it's Edwards likes to guard Murray at the end of halves. He's probably a little better getting through a screen than McDaniels. Jokic, flare screen set by our guy, flare screen Jones, and setting up Brown.
Christian Brown, 2 of 2 on threes. Both were pretty open corner ventures.
Yeah, Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, Jones, these guys have hit their threes in the first half. Denver up 2. Edwards finding Gobert, goes right down the lane. That's kind of a Pinoy step there by Gobert, but he got tripped. Jokic has a chance here, goes behind the back on Edwards, goes through his arm. Great contest there by Anthony Edwards. Jokic thought he got fouled, but that was really good defense.
And so we'll be back in a little bit of time. We'll recap. I can't remember how many minutes halftime is in the playoffs.
15 is always 15, unless there's like some retirement ceremony at halftime. Yeah, Edwards limping to the locker room, but you haven't seen it too much in his play. We'll be back 12 minutes or so. All right, tied at 62 at halftime. Danny, I'm sure, will return, as maybe even right now.
I usually wait for you to click in before I click in.
That seems wise.
So I thought that was a pretty fascinating first half. I mean, some of the player usage and everything else, but I feels like the place to start here is just such a weird first half for Julius Randle.
Yeah, shot selection was pretty atrocious. 2 for 7. He just took 3 threes I thought were pretty bad. One of them was at the end of the clock, but it really was just, especially considering Aaron Gordon was in foul trouble, just wasn't aggressive enough attacking the basket. A couple other interesting notes, obviously. Jamal Murray, 11 of 11 at the foul line. So Wolves need to keep him off the foul line and force him to actually make shots in the second half. So Aaron Gordon barely played in the first with the 3 fouls. Denver got away with that. They didn't have to go back to him, and we'll have to keep an eye on whether he potentially picks up his 4th. So it's Edwards starting off on Jamal Murray. They're going to try to quell him a little bit. McDaniels is on Johnson as Jokic going at Gobert. Gobert can't run down the rebound. Beautiful pass by Gordon. And if I'm Rudy Gobert, I'm upset there. Someone else should have gotten that rebound. He contested the shot, and Aaron Gordon ran in from the corner and beat somebody. I didn't catch who it was. I think it was probably Randall. Gobert tried to go behind his back and his own butt. It was a 3 by Edwards. That's well short. Murray on the push. They're late picking him up. Can't make him pay. McDaniels outlets to Randall. He's got Murray out. He needs to go right to the basket here. Off the Gobert screw. Murray did well to get through it. Now Randall working. Goes right around. Right hand. Missed it. And we'll get a loose ball foul on Jokic in the rebounding action, holding the arm of Gobert.
And for Randall, he missed that shot, but at least it was a credible attack getting into the paint.
Yeah, again, Randall was just kind of standing there as Gordon got that rebound. Gobert, the least convincing shot fake of all time by Rudy Gobert. Now Randall is guarded by Gordon. What I would like to see them go to the post to Julius Randle here, see if they can pick up a 4th on Gordon. DiVincenzo can't draw the foul. Nuggets looking for a 2-possession lead here through Murray. Murray has Randall on him, blows by him. What a twisting layup that was.
That was a nice finish by Jamal Murray. Up to 19 points, 4 of 9 from the field, 11-11 from the line.
Now Murray has to pick up Edwards as he got back on defense. Edwards, they're trying to force him right. He's a much better left-handed driver. Oh, that's an offensive foul. Love the call.
Yeah, brought that elbow up high, and so that is an offensive foul on Anthony Edwards. That is his 2nd personal on the foul situation. The only person in true trouble is Gordon. There are a bunch of guys with 2. I'll mention if they get to 3, but Gordon's the only one with 3.
Jokic screening for Murray. He goes the other way. Now off the double screen. Edwards trailing him. Jokic, pump fake, blows by Gobert, and finishes. No help.
I thought the pass from Jamal Murray was a teensy bit late, but it didn't affect the drive by Jokic.
Now Gobert going to try to go right back at Jokic. And Jokic reaches in and picks up the foul. Just not a good foul there by Nikola Jokic. I know he's got good hands, but if you just stay tall and body Gobert, Gobert is really having one of his best finishing games.
And that is Jokic's 3rd personal. So that is a potential concern for David Adelman.
3 on Jokic, 3 on Gordon. So Gobert trying to open the scoring for Minnesota here and can't even come close on the free throw.
Oof. Nate, what of the games other than this of game 1s are you most excited to see?
Knicks. I would say Knicks, Hawks, and then actually the more I think about it, San Antonio, Portland, just we haven't seen either of these groups before in the playoffs, and Wembanyama, how Portland's going to try to deal with them. There's a lot of interesting strategic elements there. Here is the pick and pop by Jokic, similar action to what they just ran. They've been running Murray off of 2 screens on those handoffs to prevent them from directing the ball. Here's Edwards, puts a foot in the ground, steps back. He's looking like he's having trouble getting loose here in the second half. Murray working on McDaniels, interacts with Jokic. Not even close to defending that play were the Wolves, but Murray has missed a couple in that circumstance. Randall, again, go. Why doesn't he just go right at Aaron Gordon right there with 3 fouls? Instead, Ant will try it. They're gapping off of him. There's a good point in the comments that it might be better as Randall does try to drive, and it will stay here as Jokic lost it. He's been very upset with the officiating. But yeah, I would like to, there's a point in the comments too that the way that the Nuggets are trying to gap towards the Wolves is it's non-shooters who are standing next to the potential drivers. Edwards going to try to come off a screen on the baseline. Instead, Gobert goes away to set the screen for McDaniels. Off the dribble, 3-point shooting on arc threes, maybe not his forte. Gordon with his first attack. Can't get anywhere against Randall. Good defense. Jokic bludgeons through Gobert, lost it. More great defense by Gobert. 3-on-2. Edwards blows by everyone into the lane. Blew a tire on the finish, but Randall is there. And yeah, Edwards still, he's running back, but he didn't look good there as he landed.
A little flat on that finish.
Yeah, Edwards looking tired too. And Murray, he's just missing shots. He's getting wide open right now off the dribble. Edwards is looking a little tired. I think as DiVincenzo eludes Jokic and drains it. DiVincenzo, he's gotten few looks, but he's been knocking them down, and we're tied at 68.
Minnesota has 8 made 3-pointers. Dante DiVincenzo has 4 of those on 4 attempts.
Jokic at the elbow, back screen for Johnson. Oh, Jokic actually missed Johnson there. He was open. Brown, kick back out. Jokic has all day. Missed it. Brown flopped, didn't get the call on the rebounding action.
Denver's missing some good looks in this third quarter.
Very good looks. But the Wolves are at least packing the paint. That's what Denver's true superpower is. As Ant goes from 2-point range. Again, he's short. He's not getting the lift, and Gordon goes right ahead. Ant runs him down, but Gordon dunks anyway. He wanted a foul.
And I think there are more fouls on those kind of big dunks than are called. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I agree. They used to call those a lot more than they do now. DiVincenzo missed a similar shot. Jokic has been deadly in that semi-transition 5-1 pick-and-roll action. Now it's Murray, switched on to by McDaniels. Jokic, they try to switch him out. Gobert came over, but a goaltend is called.
That was close to some pretty aggressive player movement defensively from the Wolves, but they just didn't quite get there. Gobert was a step late in goaltending.
Well, and it was a really good work getting it right back to Jokic. Yeah, and that's probably a goaltend. It's hard to see from that angle, but Wolves could challenge it if they wanted to. They will not.
Denver does not have a challenge available due to David Adelman's unsuccessful, and Minnesota has one available. They already challenged too, but they got it.
Yeah, they had to challenge an obvious one. Here's Randall off the screen, goes right in. He can't finish. Wolves struggling to finish around the basket. Nuggets struggling to finish open jumpers. Gordon fires. That one wasn't a struggle. Timeout by the Wolves as Denver has really, I think, had the run of play here in the third.
I agree. I think that they've been a lot better in terms of getting open shots. The 7-0 run, and Minnesota's missed a couple, but I think Denver's had better looks that they've missed than the ones that Minnesota's missed.
Is there a schedule for the second screen games? Not really. We should probably get that set up again, but it just in the sense that we're not really planning that far ahead. Tomorrow, I will probably do maybe a little bit of if San Antonio Portland is close at halftime, I'll probably turn it on. But I got to build up my endurance for doing these like day after day after day. Has Minnesota been terrible at the rim? Let's check those numbers for you right now.
They were 5 of 8 in the first half.
Minnesota was 5 of 8 at the rim in the first
sorry.
half.
Sorry. I was looking at the wrong line. That was Denver that was 5 of 8 in the first half.
Yeah, now Minnesota's 14 of 18, but they are 3 of 16 on twos away from the rim. And on upper paint, they're 1 of 8, and a lot of those are pretty close. So I think some of those are being logged as upper paint. Third quarter, Minnesota is 1 of 6 in the paint, however.
Oof, and 1 of 7 overall on twos. And got a couple questions overlapping with each other. If Ant isn't fully healed by today, how would that change your prediction? I mean, it's going to be a lot harder for Minnesota to score. I think they could still win games in the series, but if Anthony Edwards is as limited as he's been in this game for the rest of the series, that would make me more confident in picking the Nuggets.
Yeah, I mean, Gobert, I think, has been unbelievable. I don't think you can continue to expect this level of offensive play from him.
And both teams have hit their threes overall. Minnesota 8 of 21, which is 38%. Denver 42%, 10 to 24. But you could see some regression for both teams in that element. Yeah, I mostly agree with that from Mitt. If Anthony Edwards is on one leg, Randall needs to play bully ball, and he's been awful. He's been very disappointing in this game because, particularly with Aaron Gordon getting into foul trouble, there were a lot of advantages to be had, and it's an approach issue. There's somewhat paralleling Paolo Banchero, where it's the shots you take, but it's also the attacks that you don't make, and those are both big problems. From Haywood, who is the next Aaron Gordon trajectory guy miscast as number one on a bad franchise, reorganizes his game, becomes an invaluable role player on a good team? Gordon, there are parallels to me. I mean, Gordon did this more in the NBA than Iguodala, where it's like these incredibly physically talented guys, which is the other anomaly with them. It's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, even Gordon, I think he kind of moved into more of a 3-and-D-ish role. But yeah, I guess we're back here, so I'm not gonna have time to look at it that closely. Yeah, I was trying to scroll through some rosters to see to get some inspiration, and ran out of time.
Mm-hmm.
Hardaway is in for Denver. He's going to replace Cam Johnson. No further subs. Oh, no, it's Reed for Randall. Here's McDaniels on a floater, but he takes it away from Jokic. Lucky, whereas Denver to recover. Again, Jokic, his amount of complaining has been pretty vociferous.
Well, he has to make up for Luka being unavailable to start the series.
Ant's also a pretty big complainer, too. They run the handoff with Murray. He blows right past everyone, and he's hit from behind by McDaniels, and this will be the 12th and 13th free throw attempts of the game for Jamal Murray.
Also, Jaden McDaniels, third personal. He will be something to monitor the rest of this with 6 minutes to go in the third. And yeah, that's foul.
Yeah, so they've gone away from Ant guarding Jamal Murray now. I think it is good to give him different looks throughout the game. And especially given that McDaniels is prone to foul trouble. So now the question is, will they go back to Ant on him? I tend to think not, but McDaniels getting a fourth foul would be a problem.
And I would like to see the Wolves hunt Tim Hardaway Jr. a little more aggressively in these minutes. I think they can get some stuff with him as the on-ball defender and potentially have him react in space.
McDaniels pitching it back. They took too long to get into this action. DiVincenzo with Murray on him tried the floater, not really his shot. Murray has transitioned. Wolves are largely back. Jokic back to Murray. Hardaway, good closeout by Ant. Hardaway still working, back out to Jokic. Brown is hanging out under the basket. They try to set a screen for Jokic. Flare screen. Hardaway fires over Reed. That was really good defense, but Aaron Gordon inside position on Edwards. Nuggets haven't had much in the way of offensive rebounds. In fact, neither team has in this game.
And going back to the last possession, I thought Dante DiVincenzo made a mistake. He saw the big back and just instinctively went for the floater. When it's Jokic, you go all the way to the basket because he's not going to actually deter you.
That's a good point. So Edwards will sit down now. And is he in foul trouble?
No, only 3.
Yeah, but this was not a time he would normally go out. Murray, again, I mean, he's had so many good looks here in the third. I mean, this game could be completely over if he were just hitting shots right now. Kyle Anderson is headed to the table. Chris's Finch's rotations have kind of gotten messed up here, it seems like. Here's McDaniels working on Brown. Brown contested well without fouling. Jokic on the push. Brown is there. Good help by Dosunmu. And Brown tried to just throw it up and draw a foul. And it's out of bounds. That was really good by Dosunmu.
And Christian Brown, he was in a crowd, but you need to understand that and try to see if there's an outlet. Because there were 3 or 4 guys around him. That means somebody's open somewhere.
Yeah, that's one where slowing down, coming to a 2-foot stop, somebody is going to be open in that circumstance. But he's usually a pretty good finisher, and I think he thought he would be able to put that one away, but there was really good help as we're going to get an offensive foul here on Kyle Anderson screening for Reed.
Both teams have 2 team fouls so far in this third.
Noteworthy that we have not seen Terrence Shannon Jr. at all. Reed tries to take it away from Jokic. Jokic has been frustrated with the officiating. Yeah, left-handed pass to Murray. Jokic lays the wood on the screen. Murray, and this will be an and one for Jamal Murray going through the arm of Reed, and Murray will have one more free throw to get him to 14. This is got to be getting close to a playoff career high for him. Let me check that.
I can check it, Nate. But Jamal Murray after this one will have more free throw attempts in the game than the Minnesota Timberwolves do. And I think most of that has been earned.
Yeah, he's gotten a few little cheap ones. Like that one was kind of a cheap one.
Jamal Murray, it's funny because thinking about this as a potential playoff high, he's had some of these completely ridiculous games in the playoffs. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a higher one than this, but I will look quickly.
Jamal Murray's regular season career high in free throw attempts in a game is 15.
His playoff career high is 11, and he was 11.
So he's over that already. That might be worth a tweet when I get a chance. They go under on McDaniels. He fires the arc 3. That's no good. Wolves are just not getting good shots at the moment. And they've got Ant and Randall both off the floor again. Murray trying to work on Conley, goes right at him. No help comes. Late, it's Reed, but that leaves the offensive glass open for Gordon, and this one's getting out of control now. A 14-0 run. This game was tied at 68. Another bad shot. We didn't even see how it happened. Reed, good closeout by Murray. Reed on the attack again. Jokic late coming over. McDaniels on the glass. He can't finish it. He'll try again and finally scores. And then he shoves Jokic. That'll be a technical foul. He's losing it here.
And this is a 20-8 third quarter in favor of the Denver Nuggets, and you can see Minnesota losing their composure.
Yeah, I want to check what happened now. Will they review this to see if Jokic did something to him beforehand? Let's see what happens. Okay, we didn't see it here. He just shoved him. I don't know what preceded it. Of course, Amazon's not showing it to us. Something happened that pissed him off.
Yeah. I mean, he's not dressed like a fire extinguisher, so I'm not entirely sure.
So I wonder how far back they could go to look at what Jokic did. I would love to do it, but unfortunately, that would destroy my thinking, so I can't. See if anyone's tweeting about it.
In this third quarter, this is incredible. The Minnesota Timberwolves have had 14 half-court plays. They have scored 1 half-court point. That is a 0.07 points per half court play.
Let's see here. Yeah, we still have no idea why McDaniels reacted like that. Jokic must have done something to him, but Amazon wouldn't actually show that to us.
Oh yeah, and Jokic is going to shoot this tech, because I was going to say if Jamal Murray shoots it, then he ties his career high free throw attempts.
Jamal Murray. Yeah, that's right.
There it is.
So Murray, another free throw attempt. And yeah, Minnesota, they were up early in this game. It was looking good. And they just are not anywhere close to Denver right now. Their offense since the first quarter has really struggled. Yeah, watch out, Aaron Gordon. You see how he just was able to bring the ball up with no pressure? Think of how different that is than what the Wolves were doing to them 2 years ago. Murray working against McDaniels, got it off. Butter.
Yeah, that's such a clean look for Jamal Murray.
And that's
McDaniels
a one-on-one move against McDaniels too. So Jokic is now on McDaniels. They don't look that way now. They do, but then he switched on to Broad immediately. They should throw it. McDaniels does get to the rim, so good work there. But throw it to Dosunmu with the advantage on Jokic. If you're really operating at a high level offensively, that's the play. Gordon fires off the handoff, missed it. That was an actual half-court bucket. This would have been transition. Reed lost it. Jokic again aghast that it was not his team's ball, and we'll get a timeout here.
This is another interesting lineup from Chris Finch. Dosunmu, Conley, Anderson, McDaniels, and Reed. Like you have enough creation on the floor, but it's also Gobert off with Jokic on. Yeah. PIK says, as mentioned on the pod, as I mentioned on the pod, the Wolves would love to have Nickeil Alexander-Walker now. Oh yeah, it's a big absence, and it's unfortunate that Naz Reid is dealing with this shoulder injury. But I mean, Nickeil Alexander-Walker in this specific matchup would help them a lot more. Has Denver spent more time in the bonus than not in the bonus? I don't have a good way to check that. I don't think so, because there was one quarter where I think they got it where they got in with, I mean, they're not even in yet in this quarter. So that's 9 minutes where they haven't been in the bonus. So no, but they've been in the bonus a whole lot.
Yeah. So a commenter whose name I will not try to pronounce because it's a series of letters and numbers, said he rewound. Jokic hit McDaniels in the face in the rebounding action.
Oh, and to correct something from before, somebody said that Christian Braun was not perfect from three. He actually is, because the one that he missed was just a step inside the line, so it's logged as a missed deep two rather than a three. But that doesn't really matter. Yeah, that's a fair point from Mitt, and they've also been missing the 2024 version of Mike Conley. Yeah, that's a sore absence for them as well. But I think Conley's been better defensively than I expected. He's had a couple good passes too. He's been better in this game than a lot of the rest of the season.
All right, why no Highland? Yeah, at some point they probably should go there, but yeah, I mean, I didn't think they put Bones in position to succeed with that 3-guard group in the first half. Yeah, but they also it would be nice to have the 2024 version of Anthony Edwards right now. He looks quite glum on the sidelines. Yeah, we haven't seen Terrence Shannon Jr. either, who maybe could have given them a little bit of a jolt in transition. They've gone with Conley.
And something else that's hurt Minnesota, they're 1 of 7 from 3 in the third quarter. Things could look a little bit better otherwise.
I haven't found those looks to be particularly compelling, though.
Yeah, and Denver's 1 for 8. So if we're regressing both of
Yeah.
those to the mean, then it's probably pro Denver, considering I think Denver's at better looks. Pretty impressive to go on this kind of a run when you're 1 for 8 from 3.
23-10 in this quarter. Yeah, Wolves are now 3 of 13 in the paint in the quarter and 1 of 7 from 3. But it's really the paint finishing that they would love to have back. Here's Reed. Pass fake. Lost it. More transition for the Nuggets. Tough pass for Johnson. Now Jokic. Going to work with Brown. Jokic working hard physically. He really has only had, I think, 1 post up in this whole game. And finally, Reed is going to get called for a foul here. And Jokic gets his really the first one of those little off-ball flop plays, but I think it was Reed who chucked him first. But now Denver's in the bonus. They're going to get free throws as Edwards will return here.
We've seen some composure. I don't think of that necessarily as a composure issue, but I've seen some of that. I mean, that's
this is now Randall at center guarding Jokic, and I think Jokic is going to go right to work now. Sombor shuffle, missed it. I thought he could have gotten a better one there.
I agree.
Edwards is return. Let's see how he looks. Down 13. They want to involve Jokic in pick and roll. Jokic is just back. Bruce Brown got through the screen. Edwards steps through. Brown bothered him from behind again, but I think he got hit in the head.
Yeah, I think Brown swiped with that arm and caught Edwards on the shot attempt. Anthony Edwards, a night so far, 12 points.
Yeah, he got hit in the head.
Yeah, 12 points, 4 of 12 from the field. These will be his 4th and 5th free throws of the game.
I always credit the referees when they see a guy getting hit in the head because it's not naturally where a referee's eye is going to go. You're going to be looking at the ball, seeing if there's contact up there. It could be easy to miss that there was contact to the head at times.
Yes, this lineup from the Wolves: Conley, Dosunmu, Edwards, Randall, and Kyle Anderson.
Wolves have only 12 points in the quarter even now. There's Jokic, gets right past Randall, easy finish. Randall kind of gambled, but Jokic just too big, held him off, and that was a great pass as well to lead him into that layup. And those are the plays Jokic, he hasn't had many of those, as now he's getting out defensively on Edwards. Another turnover. Cam Johnson, Dosunmu trying to run him down. Johnson misses. No Wolf was there, but Dosunmu did touch it, and you could see Dosunmu's like, guys, get back here.
Yeah. No one else. I mean, that would have been an easy
bucket. This should have been a layup by Bruce Brown. I mean, Julius Randle jogging back, Conley jogging back.
Yeah, and Bruce Brown just got his eyes looking towards the basket before he secured the ball.
Jokic, he's got confidence against Randall now. This is not going to work. The only way you can go with Randall guarding him is with Gobert on the floor, maybe. Dosunmu, they go under on him. He's not going to take it off the dribble. They try Ant on the second side. Hardaway trying to keep him on the side. He gets out of it and finishes. Not good enough there by Hardaway. Got to force him to that help when everything was bottled up on that side.
I know Chris Finch hasn't trusted him, but to me, if you're going to do something like this, at least have Beranger as an option.
Yeah, John was thinking it was pretty unlikely that they would go to him. I mean, I agree early in the series. Good contest that time by Randall. Edwards good on the boards. where he's usually not that strong. And now, I mean, Edwards, why doesn't he just take that three off the dribble? I guess he could get Conley a wide open one too. And that Jokic really needs to be up there, or whoever's guarding Randall just completely hung the defender on Ant out to dry. Now it's Anderson guarding Jokic, and Anderson with the quick steal on Hardaway. Hardaway is tired. They throw it ahead. Dosunmu, three-pointer, not even close. And they didn't really get a 2-for-1 there.
No, Denver can hold for the last possession. I mean, I think Minnesota's a little fortunate that Denver's only up 10 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, look how exhausted Hardaway is right now. Like he just kind of sauntered over there. He's just not really in a stance, and then he was tired again when he got the ball stripped from Anderson, or by Anderson. Murray back in for this last possession. So is McDaniels to guard him. 1 second differential. No switch. Randall in a drop. Jokic. He hasn't gotten many of those, but it's too easy. Edwards looking to get it off from way behind the line. And it's a 91-79 Denver lead after 3.
And now after the third quarter, Jokic up to 18 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Does have 5 turnovers, but that seems like it was mostly in the early going. And there was that nice play by Kyle Anderson. So I think this is clear advantage Denver, but we've thought that going into the non-Jokic minutes before, even if Denver is doing a much better job in those now than they did previously. In that third quarter, Jokic and Jamal Murray each scored in double digits. Jokic had 12 points on 6 of 10 from the field. Jamal Murray had 10 points on 3 of 8, but he got to the line 4 times. The only 4 free throws that the Denver Nuggets took in that quarter. What ideal front court would you build to defend Jokic? So I think ideally you want a physically strong, because you can't do 2 unless you have 2 centers and 1 of 3 is like they brought up Wembanyama as a possibility. You want a strong guy who could move his feet a little bit. Probably actually I would say maybe a 4, like a built 4. And then Wembanyama, because it's always Wembanyama. So, I'm trying to think about who that guy would be. Like just an absolute tank of a 4 that can defend 5s. Just speaking practically, because 2 centers is too much to ask in most cases. Aaron Gordon in Wemby? I'm thinking a little bigger. Maybe Anthony Davis in Wemby? That could work. But Anthony Davis, I mean, I thought Ant did that was a lifetime ago in that series, in the conference finals all those years ago. Oh, Bam?
Would the Wolves rather have Towns in this matchup than Randall? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think so. Especially with the superior shooting.
Well, and because he can do a better job, you could do that theory if you have your 4 guarding Jokic and then you have your 5 as a roamer. Like, you can't do that with Randall. We've already seen that. Yeah, it is funny because that 2 years ago, that Denver team ran into trouble with Minnesota, and some of what Minnesota had in that series, they lost. Now you can make the argument that they got better overall, but they might have gotten worse in this specific matchup. In terms of foul trouble, Aaron Gordon never picked up his 4th, but Naz Reid did. So Naz Reid has 4. Edwards, McDaniels, Gordon, Jokic, and Bruce Brown all have 3. But going into the 4th, 3 fouls isn't too big of a burden.
So this is where the Wolves need to make a push with Jokic on the bench. Finch changing up the rotation. I like this to get Ant on the floor going against the drop of Valanciunas.
By the way, final numbers, 10 points on 20 half-court plays for Minnesota in that third quarter.
Yeah, and they had to rally late. Randall at the elbow. Screen for Ant. They switch it. Good pass there by Randall to find Edwards, but he couldn't cash out. Gobert can't get the offensive rebound. And that's going to be a screening foul on Valanciunas. Just didn't need to do that. He's had the handoff. He's already ahead of him in the backcourt.
Yeah, just slide your butt in that, and that should be an offensive foul. That is the correct call.
Yeah. So they've got Randall guarded by Johnson. Johnson has been very active as a help defender. Randall blows by him and scores. They should go back to that action every single time because Valanciunas can't get over there fast enough. He's not a shot blocker. They should be able to get Julius Randle into the paint on every possession and force a double team.
Or at least force Aaron Gordon back in the game.
Johnson missed another foul there by Valanciunas, shoving a man in the back. Johnson thought he got fouled. This might be, I think this is a time for David Adelman to consider going with Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
At center. Now, and he also, obviously, they missed Peyton Watson in this spot, too. Because Gordon, yeah, you really don't need another 4 to play next to him, which is kind of the problem. Now, Randall working against Murray. Bludgeons in, finds Gobert. Beautiful pass. They got to go to Randall every single time with this group. That would be another reason to get Gordon back in the game. He got plenty of rest in the first half, and he didn't pick up a foul, I don't believe, in the second quarter.
Correct.
Or, sorry, the second half. So, Dosunmu trying to keep Murray on the side. Can't do it. Murray waits till he gets in front of him and scores. That's just become one of the most fundamental plays for a pick-and-roll ball handler. You get the guy in your back, he fights to get back in front, and right at that moment, his momentum's going the other way, pull the jumper. Now Gobert setting the screen. Dosunmu hasn't had the touch off the dribble. Murray has been brilliant. Off the screen with Ant on him. Gets into the air. Ant recovered, but Johnson was open. Valanciunas fighting hard on the offensive glass to get Denver another possession.
Yeah, and it's a team offensive rebound, but good work by Valanciunas. Dosunmu came over to help out, and that was I thought it was a fortunate bounce to Cam Johnson to get that three, but he missed it.
Screen to the corner. Johnson is open. Not even close. I do like how much they've run plays for Cam Johnson, though. They didn't really do that all regular season. Randall, again, goes right through everyone. He got stopped from behind. Valanciunas with a rare play at the rim. 4-on-1. And DiVincenzo stops it. Ant with the save. And now DiVincenzo just loses it. Ugh.
That was such a good play from DiVincenzo at first, then just can't quite stick the landing on the second part.
Yeah, Jokic, he's apoplectic that decision was made. That was DiVincenzo sold out to stop the alley-oop. There, any other decision there would have resulted in a dunk. Brown, he'll take the three off the dribble. That's certainly quite rare.
Yeah, he had his feet set, but still.
Oh, that was nice by Ant. But again, the Wolves just can't make any shots right now. They loaded up to him. He just threw the simple pass to DiVincenzo. I think this is a pretty good group for the Wolves. This might even be the one that I would consider closing with. Although I guess McDaniels is one of their best players, so never mind. Dosunmu switching on to Murray. Murray, let's see if Dosunmu holds up here. Fade away, Murray. That was good. Dosunmu didn't get back down too far. But again, the Wolves can't make headway as Dosunmu finally gets a transition three, and there is some headway, and there's a timeout by David Edelman. Does he come back with Nikola Jokic right now?
Jokic has played 31 minutes in the game. I think you do that and try to put the hammer down, try to close it out. And it is a little risky because there isn't a great avenue if you put him in now to get him another rest. because you see teams kind of maybe if you knew something kind of like Jason Kidd does with the use it or lose it, like that sort of a circumstance, it's a little bit thorny, but I would do it just to try to secure the win now. From Short Sharp, Cam Johnson has so many horrible misses for a guy who's as good a shooter as he is. It is there are a few of those guys, but it's true. I mean, he has some really like bare almost airball, clean catch and shoot threes. Orange says absolutely crazy to go to a Dosunmu Gobert action with the success they're finding with Randall's playmaking. I agree. Even if the Nuggets end up keying to it more often, and I think we're going to see some personnel changes here. You go to it, you force the reaction, and then you work from it. So you use that, you force the reaction. Like that's your starting point once it's worked so well.
Here, I got a good stat for you here, Danny.
Okay.
Denver is 5 of 15 in transition, 3 of 11 from 2 in transition with 3 turnovers. So that you typified by that Murray 4-on-1 pass that got intercepted.
Yeah, and they've typically been one of the most successful transition teams in the they were one of the best teams in the league in transition this year. And Minnesota, granted, small sample, 5 half-court plays. They only have 2 points in the half court. They've been doing their damage so far in transition, which is not a huge surprise.
Yeah, neither team getting an advantage in the possession game, 80 true shots to 80. And neither team really doing much in the transition game either. 16 transition points to 14. Denver's had a few more chances. Worth noting, though, that Denver has been more effective converting their few offensive rebounds with 14 second chance points to 8.
Mm-hmm.
Both teams actually are an identical 10 out of 30 from 3. And both teams, wow, amazing. Both teams are exactly 50% from 2 as well.
Minnesota, 18 of 22 inside 5 feet, but 4 of 22 on twos outside of 5 feet. By comparison, Denver, 11 of 18, so fewer attempts, lower proportion inside 5 feet, but then they're a much more competitive thanks to Jamal Murray, 9 of 22 on twos away from the basket.
Yeah, so the big difference in this game, 23 free throw makes to 15 for Denver. And, of course, Murray's 15 of 15 from the line has keyed that. Jokic has returned after a 3-minute rest. Good denial by Dosunmu. Now they twist Murray back to the action, blows past everyone, tries to finish. Good defense by the Wolves.
Yeah, Randall got back in that.
Edwards, he'll go about 15 minutes here if he doesn't sit again. Gobert wipes out the man on the screen, and Edwards drains it. And as well as Denver has played, Gordon is down after Gobert laid the wood on that screen. Now they go to that Jokic handling and pick and roll. Gordon going right in. He blows through Randall. What a power move that was. He was frustrated and is still limping a little bit after not getting that call, but he exerted his own physicality in response. Randall at the elbow. Screen for DiVincenzo, and they're going to get a hold on Cam Johnson as DiVincenzo came off the screen.
Cam Johnson grabbed DiVincenzo's jersey twice on that play. They called the second one.
And this looks like a good screen there by Gobert. Would you agree?
Yeah, that looks totally fine to me. There another angle might show if his shoulder slid out, but that looked fine to me.
Well, and that's Aaron Gordon. He didn't use the off arm that time. That was just purely legal physicality. That would have flown in any era. Gobert, he scores over Jokic. He's really been excellent finishing at the rim. He hasn't had any of his usual flubs.
7 for 8 from the field, only 1 turnover.
Dosunmu gets wiped out on the screen. Back to Jokic, changes side of the floor. Brown, they needed that 3 desperately, and he knocks it down. That's the shot that he needs to make. They were gapping off of him. Jokic found him. There was a decent contest. He knocked it down. Gobert can't get the ball at the elbow. Now Ant's trapped on the sides. Wants it back. Double team. But they took too long to activate the defense. DiVincenzo firing a really tough 3, but Gobert just moves Jokic out of the way. Jokic just cannot deal with the referees right now. He's going back to them on every play.
And I don't think there was anything untoward from Rudy Gobert there. It didn't look like to me. Maybe there was a hand on his shoulder.
Yeah, nothing more than there is on any other rebound. Good denial by Dosunmu on the handoff. Now they'll screen for Gordon. Jokic decided to fire the 3. DiVincenzo, a good rebounding guard. Wolves can cut it to 1 possession. They get it into Ant's hands. They got Randall in the post. Jokic coming over. Gobert wants it up top. Oh, they had the pass weak side to Dosunmu. That should have come from Randall. Instead, Dosunmu drives it and he finishes. They did get it to him on the closeout, and now he's getting right into the face of Murray. It's a 2-point game all of a sudden.
And that was a bad job of Jokic not stepping up on that drive to at least force a pass.
Now Jokic trying to draw the foul as Gobert gets back into the play, and he can't do it. Gobert gives a thumbs up to the referee. I don't know if that was sarcastic or not, but Jokic that's what always makes him so dangerous. He's actually done less of that over the last couple of years, of just quick attacks, quick cuts off the ball, but he still can do it anytime he needs to.
And that's a part of why when we were talking about the ideal front court guys, you need a guy who's strong, but who can also move, because Jokic can get into those actions. And that's only the 3rd foul for these two teams combined in the first 6 minutes of the 4th quarter.
That was a huge play as Minnesota had closed within 2. Let's see if Ant can match Jokic here. Randall at the elbow. Finds Gobert. Tried to get the little blind pig action for Ant. It was swallowed up by Brown, and there's a flub, but that pass was too low. That wasn't Gobert's fault. Ant went for a bad steal, leading to this from Murray. Misses. Jokic, what a tip. Timeout, Chris Finch.
It's such a weird thread of this game for Jamal Murray, where he's been very efficient. He has 29 points, 7 to 19, but it's 7 to 19 for the field because he's 0 for 7 from 3, but has 15 free throw attempts. That's tied his career high. And Jamal Murray's 3-pointers, I think they've been just as good in terms of the quality attempts as he usually has. He just hasn't made those before, but at the free throw line has more than made up the margin.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe one of those were shots that I would consider difficult.
But I mean, I would say that Denver's had the run of play so far. For Minnesota to still be in real contact to potentially win this game, I mean, that's positive for them. They still need to actually do it. And something else that stands out to me, I believe Jaden McDaniels hasn't played since that push on Gobert, or sorry, on Jokic.
They took him out immediately after that, huh?
I'm going to check the play-by-play data to make sure, but I believe so. And he definitely is. Okay, so he... Let me see. I'm trying to find the tech. So he came out with 2 minutes to go in the 3rd. So he did play. He played another minute after the tech. And then hasn't come in since.
Yeah, Wes says if Denver gets this kind of shot quality all series, it's over in 5 or 6. Yeah, I mean, I think Minnesota, though, could score a lot better than they've scored, too.
Yeah, and presumably Anthony Edwards can look better later in the series than he does right now.
And you would think Minnesota could do a better job of getting to the free throw line than they have as well. Because Denver is only 13 to 21 at the rim. Mm-hmm. So they are getting some pretty good jumpers that they're missing. They're also 7 of 14 on mid-rangers. So that counteracts their struggles from 3. But here, I'll tell you how much that's been an issue. So the Denver is 6 points worse than expected on jumpers And the Wolves are 4 points less than expected on jumpers. And Denver arc threes. We would have expected them to make 2.5 more than they did, and Wolves 2 more. So it's not a huge difference.
And we haven't talked a ton about the possession game so far, in part because it's been even. It's 87 true shots for Denver, 85 for the Wolves. Both teams' offensive rebound rate, it's 24 for Denver, 18 for the Wolves, but they're relatively even in all of these respects.
I think, would you agree Rudy Gobert has been the best Wolf tonight?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's been great. It'd be a shame to waste his performance in this game.
Yeah. So Denver, as the Wolves closed, push it back out to 7. Jokic 1 assist away from a good game.
And it looks like we're going to see McDaniels in here in place of Ayo Dosunmu. I thought I saw him. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, and Denver's got Bruce Brown in right now rather than Cam Johnson. I think maybe just because it's a defensive possession. Chris Finch does have a use it or lose it timeout. Ant, mid-ranger, he's been short on a lot of these. And Gordon is down. Looks like something with his back maybe, but he seems to be okay.
He was grabbing his hip after the screen.
Gobert going under the screen. Tried to find Gordon, but the Wolves swallowed that up. Here's Jokic moving off the ball for 3. And Ant gets beaten to the glass by Brown, and it's going to be a foul. That's just not good enough by Anthony Edwards. He's right there, just didn't jump, didn't box out.
That's Anthony Edwards' 4th personal, second team foul on the Wolves.
So what happened to Gordon there? I didn't catch that. I was looking at Edwards and seeing if he was struggling to get off the ground.
I didn't get a great look at it either. Christian Brown's night, he's at 11 points, 4 of 10 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 2 of 7 from 2, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and no turnovers.
All right, I think my internet crapped out for a second. So I think I'm not synced up now. Let me try to go back to live and see if that helps.
Julius Randle hits. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm at 46, 45, 44, 43.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
I need to change the sync, though.
I can call it. So
yeah,
Jokic up top. She's going to set a handoff for Jamal Murray. Nice job by Jaden McDaniels fighting through it. Gobert's back in position. So we're at 8 seconds, and they've gotten nothing so far. Jamal Murray tries to drive. We'll see if he can bail them out. And no, he cannot. He's missed the jump shot pretty horrendously in this game. Minnesota has a chance to make it a 2-possession contest.
All right. I am synced. And there's a turnover. Bruce Brown is going to get a dunk. And Chris Finch has another timeout to use it or lose it. And he is going to use it.
That is the second time in this game that Rudy Gobert has tried to do a pass between his legs and it's messed up somehow. He's had a fantastic game overall. That has not gone well.
On the assist chat, Moriarty says, is there any viable trade market for Randle if the Wolves disappoint in the playoffs? He does, I think, have a player option as he's got 1+1 remaining at 33 minutes. I think it's probably more that he would just be matching salary, and if the Wolves gave up enough assets that he would just have to be the matching salary. I don't think there's anyone who would want him necessarily. He's just a tough fit, especially since he's not making his jumper this year.
What's hard is you're also a little bit narrow as the Wolves in terms of what you want, because it's not like you have so many other key pieces in place where you could trade. So you could try to trade him maybe for a guard that you like better than DiVincenzo, but then you have to replace Randle in the rotation. Maybe you could do it for a 3, but most teams don't trade 3s for 4s. So it's a lot. Like maybe you could try an underperforming expensive guy at a different position, but Minnesota also has financial say. So I think it's possible in your idea of using him as salary ballast with a larger asset cost. That's pretty reasonable to me.
Yeah, that's the second time Gobert's tried that little like behind the back Sabonis flip, and did he hit his own?
He hit his own leg.
His own leg again. It's the second time he's done that in the game.
Jordan Bell, he is not. Mostly a good thing for Rudy Gobert, not in this case.
So Wolves hanging by a thread now. Ant with Murray switched onto him. They try to get the elbows. Ant trying to go through the arm, and he's going to get to the foul line.
And these will be Anthony Edwards' 6th and 7th free throw attempts of the game, which are the most for Minnesota. But Minnesota, this will push them ahead of Jamal Murray in total free throw attempts in the game. Jamal Murray has 15. These will be their 16th and 17th. So even with these free throws, they called a tech on Jokic here? Well, I saw that. What did they? I saw Zach Zarba make the T sign.
I was looking at something else.
I saw Zach Zarba make the T sign. Maybe they didn't. Maybe it was just like a delay game warning or something. That was weird.
Next game we're streaming. If Portland San Antonio is close, I'm going to do a solo stream for the second half tomorrow. That'll probably be our only one tomorrow. And then I would imagine probably game 2 of this series on Monday. Edwards cuts it to 7. Key bucket there, or key 2 points there. And now they'll try to pressure up in the background. We just say, again, the contrast between 2 years ago, where you just, as that's going to be a pretty cheap foul on McDaniels.
Oof, I don't like that call.
But the contrast between 2 years ago, when they were just making every catch hard, pressuring full court, they just don't do that anymore, the Wolves. Murray off the zoom action, turns the corner, floater, too long. Good job by Braun forcing Ant to go back to catch the ball. Drag screen. Braun is way up off of Dosunmu. See, that should have been a pass to the corner to Dosunmu. He was open. They set a flare screen for him. Ant didn't see it. Now he finally get it to Dosunmu. He drives, couldn't get the layup. Jokic has it. Leaves it for Gordon. 2-on-1. Gordon to the corner. Braun, this could ice it? No. Rebounded by Ant. It just went in and out. McDaniels has been really quiet in the second half. Inside out dribble. Underneath Gobert. Didn't have his hands ready. Got hit. Went down, but Randall finishes it away.
Yeah, it was a good knockout by Aaron Gordon. He just, unfortunately for the Nuggets, knocked it right to Julius Randle. It's a 5-point lead.
That was a nice pass by McDaniels. Gobert should have had his hands ready. 5-point game. Jokic. They go under on Murray. Gordon, 3-pointer, huge. Another in and out 3 by the Nuggets. They have had chances to put this away. They couldn't do it. Now it's McDaniels. That's surely a blocking foul, and it is.
Christian Braun was not in position there.
No, and I don't know why he wasn't, honestly. I think he's needed to square up the ball a little bit more there.
Yep, and reminder that David Adelman does not have any challenges available because he used his on a bad challenge early in the game on Aaron Gordon's 3rd foul, which was a clear foul.
So because they called that foul late, McDaniels didn't hear the whistle and he threw a pass, and now it's a non-shooting foul. Wolves are in the bonus. Edwards, huge 3 here. Short. Nobody can hit a 3. Jokic has been big on the defensive glass. He waves everyone away. He wants to interact with Murray here, guarded by Edwards. Rejects the screen, goes at Gobert, leaves it for Braun. Braun picked up by Gobert. They should switch back here. They didn't take the opportunity. Jokic has the size. No, take it away, McDaniels. Now it's Randall. They can't run it down. Murray from mid-court to beat the shot clock. Wait, that didn't hit the rim.
That hit rim. How did they blow
They're going to
this?
get a dunk here.
Oh, that's horrendous officiating.
I mean, maybe if we see a replay, maybe it did. It sure didn't look like it. I mean, you got to keep playing. But as Edwards goes right around Jokic, missed it, tiptoed by Gobert, that's going to be a goaltend. You going to challenge this here? If you're Finch, you probably got to. All right, let's see. Does it hit? It did.
It
hit the rim. It did hit the rim. I take it all back.
Good call.
And the Wolves, that's not good enough. Like, you got to keep playing regardless. So they're going to review this. It's an automatic review. No challenge needed. Nope, that's a goaltend or offensive basket interference. This is not going to count.
Yeah, it was still over the cylinder. He held back, but just didn't quite hold back enough.
And yeah, I mean, at that point, he was about to fall down. You might as well tip it back and just hope you get it, because at least you're going to stop play. I mean, because he was about to fall back down where he wouldn't be able to get the rebound anyway. Good call there by the referees.
Yeah, they got both of those. Basketball officiating is hard. People complain about it all the time, but they've gotten a couple of calls right that at least, we don't have the same angles they do that we would have gotten wrong. That one I did seem like a goaltend, a basket interference.
Yeah, it was a 5-point game when Gordon got that dunk, and now Gobert's tip is wiped out. It'll remain 7 and be Denver ball.
And so it is perfect game territory for Minnesota here.
Yeah, down 3 possessions, and with Denver having the ball, Denver should be able to run it down below $120. So it would take a truly memorable collapse at this point. Gordon and Randall getting involved with each other. I mean, that's going to be a foul on Randall before it's inbounded, so this will be 1 free throw. Those two guys were getting into it. Randall wants a review, but they just started very aggressively shoving each other.
And Randall had his arms outside of Gordon's arms. If they reviewed this, they're not gonna. The Wolves aren't gonna win it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Julius Randle is upset about there. Maybe he said something to him, but it seemed like he got ultra aggressive. Maybe he could maintain that level of aggression just playing regular defense.
Explain how.
That's a career high in free throw attempts and obviously makes for Jamal Murray.
16 of 16 from the line for Jamal Murray. And he's now 1 behind the Minnesota Timberwolves in terms of attempts, and he's ahead of them in makes.
Yeah, 16 of his 30 points have come at the foul line. Randall's still trying to pressure up on Gordon. If I'm Denver, I don't want Aaron Gordon with all of his hamstring issues, and they're going to get another foul here on Randall, who's I appreciate the effort level, but again, save it for when it matters, please.
Well, and considering one of Aaron Gordon's hamstring aggravations was dribbling the ball up the floor.
Right. That's what I'm thinking of exactly. Calf, hamstring. Like, you don't want him trying to do a max effort, push the ball up the floor against pressure. It's reminded of when the Warriors had KD do that when he was on a calf that was about to become a torn Achilles. That's actually one thing that probably doesn't get talked about enough is that Christian Braun just can't really do that as a guard.
Yeah.
They just never ask him to handle the ball, even in a situation like that.
Well, he had a grab and go earlier in the game without a good contest, and he couldn't do the 3 dribbles up the court. Missed free throw there by Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, 9-point game. They double team Ant at half court. Weirdly, I guess they just did. Why did they do that?
Yeah, you're trying. It's not like you're going to speed them up. They're trying to go quickly anyway.
They just didn't want to give up a 3 or something. I don't really understand why they double teamed. at half court. They just wanted Gobert to try to make the decision or something.
Now,
that was really weird.
It is Rudy Gobert shooting free throws, so it's not the most damaging proposition out there, but proposition.
No, no, it isn't.
And he misses the first.
They got the ball to their playmaker, Gobert. I mean, Rudy has been awesome in this game. McDaniels fires a three. That was not close. Jokic, again, another defensive board. And
it's over. We'll keep the broadcast going, but they're not.
I mean, we could probably turn it off. Yeah, I mean, they're not fouling or anything. All right, yeah, we can next this. All right, thanks for watching. And I will probably do the second half of San Antonio, Portland, unless it's a 15-point game at halftime or something. Thanks for watching. Catch you all next time, and enjoy listening to Dunked on Prime tonight.